This is a quick overview of the modeler that can be used to allow executives to determine how much they might be able to accumulate for retirement using the hospital-sponsored 403B and 457B plans. In order to use the modeler, you first make inputs in the upper part of this screen. So, name, salary information, how much the individual expects compensation to grow over his career. In the middle set of boxes, these are drop downs. You can indicate the start year for the analysis, the individual's age, expected retirement age, which can be 60, 65, or 70, the number of years for benefit payments, either 10 or 20, and the expected investment return, 5, 6, or 7%. In the last set of input columns, you indicate the contribution method that will be used to determine how much is going into the plans. And the drop-down gives you three different options. The first is to contribute a percentage of compensation, for example 10%. The second would be to contribute a flat dollar amount, and the third would be to contribute up to the IRS limits. So I'm going to select the first one, contribute a percentage of compensation, and then in the box below that I'll put in 15% of comp. Once the inputs are complete, you can see that we're seeing some results down below. In the first set of, or the first column here, we can see how much the contributions would be for 2012, the start year for the analysis, based on the inputs that the individuals put in. So the target contribution is $75,000, which is 15% of total comp, which is $500,000. Now, the first place that it makes sense for those dollars to be contributed to is the 403B plan, because that's a pre-tax plan. It's protected from creditors, and it also qualifies for a 50% hospital match. So the first $17,000, which is the IRS limit for 2012, will go into the 403B plan. The next $17,000 will go into the 457B plan, and then the final $41,000 of this target contribution will have to go into after-tax savings. The executive would actually take this into compensation, pay his tax, and actually have the net amount after tax to contribute to an after-tax vehicle like mutual funds. In addition, there's $8,500 worth of employer match, which is 50% of the amount that the executive is contributing to the 403B plan. The next column, this column in the middle, shows how much these contributions would accumulate to at retirement and what they could be used to generate over a 20-year time frame, which is what we've indicated here in the inputs, on an after-tax income basis. So the 403B plan would generate $60,000, the 457 $30,000, etc., for a total of $214,000 worth of retirement income. On a pre-tax basis, that's equivalent to about $357,000. This assumes a 40% tax rate, which is 41% of final income. We're also seeing the results here graphically. Now, if you want to look at more detail, we can click on, we can go to the detailed exhibits by clicking on one of these gray buttons. For example, I can take a look at the projected contributions in detail. And this exhibit will show us each year what the executive's compensation is, growing at 3%, which is, again, what was input. The target contribution, 15% of that increasing income, and then where those contributions are going between the 403B plan, the 457B plan, and then excluded contributions, which would have to go into after-tax savings. I can click this button and go back to the input. I can also take a look at detail on how the retirement income is being calculated. So again, here's the contributions based on the methodology selected. Here are the contributions going into the 403B and 457B plans, which are both pre-tax, and then over time what it accumulates to and what that would generate for retirement income pulled out over the indicated 20-year period. Now there's the ability on these detailed screens to actually change your inputs. So I can change this from a 20-year to a 10-year withdrawal, and the results are changed right here on the exhibit. These would then carry through to the entire model. I'll set this back to 20 and go back to the input screen. And that gives you a brief overview of how the modeler would calculate retirement income from the current hospital programs.